In the middle of a crypto crash can be a daunting experience, with the fears of a bigger crash looming. But the worst thing people can do is panic sell when prices are low, only to see the crypto market set new all-time highs 6 months down the line. And it's in times like this that we will see some big wealth transfers, from the smaller retail investors over to the corporations and institutional investors. In Bitcoin's 10-year history, 8 years was largely driven just by retail investors. However, ever since the last halving event in May last year, we now see the introduction of corporations and institutions. Now, most smaller investors only really pay attention to what's going on with price movements, but they don't see what's going on behind the scenes. And so that is what this video is all about. I'm going to reveal what is going on behind the scenes with the institutions and the corporations. And so we'll be looking at some analysis done by Cathie Wood and the ARK Invest team, some insights from Michael Saylor. His company is the largest corporate holder of Bitcoin, and he's going to share how the corporations think. And it's all to do with cost of capital. And then I'll finish with sharing some of the things that are going on behind the scenes. And this includes with institutions, with banks, and now even the US Republican Party. As always, if you do find anything useful in the video, drop a like, always appreciated. But just know, even though a lot of the news and infrastructure is happening around Bitcoin, whatever's good for Bitcoin is good for the crypto market. So any good news for Bitcoin is good news for all cryptos. So what's going on with the corporations and the institutions right now? Well, let's begin with Cathie Wood explaining what's going on in the world of corporations. Check it out.
It surprised us. We expected institutional interest to pick up this year, and it certainly has. But the way in which it's picked up has surprised us. I don't think we ever thought there would be broad-based substitution of Bitcoin for cash on corporate balance sheets. So we find that very interesting. If all corporations in the United States were to put I think it's, 10% of their cash into Bitcoin, that alone would add $200,000 to the Bitcoin price. You know, this has to mature a little bit before broad-based adoption can take place, but we're very reassured that companies like Square and Tesla have chosen to allocate.
So Cathie Wood and the team at ARK Invest did some analysis on how corporations and institutions adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet would impact the Bitcoin price. And the results are probably why she maintains her high price target for Bitcoin of $500,000. Take a look. Starting with the corporations, and ARK Invest did some analysis, and if corporations were to add Bitcoin onto their balance sheet, what would this do to the Bitcoin price? And they found that if all the companies in the S&P 500 added 1% of their cash into Bitcoin, this would add $40,000 to the Bitcoin price. And if all the companies were to allocate 10% of their cash into Bitcoin, then this would add $400,000 to the Bitcoin price. And they did the same with institutional investors too. So the different categories, we have the mass affluent, pension funds, insurance companies, sovereign wealth funds, and they found that if institutions just added 2.5%, this would add $200,000 onto the Bitcoin price. And if they allocated 6.5%, this would add $500,000 to the Bitcoin price. And by adding the two together for institutions and corporations, this is a potential $900,000 added to the Bitcoin price. And I think this is why Cathie Wood conservatively is saying Bitcoin's price could easily reach $500,000. So, as you can see, there's a lot of potential future growth coming from corporations and institutions. Next up, we have Michael Saylor, and his company MicroStrategy is the largest corporate holder of Bitcoin. And he shares some insights of how corporations are thinking about Bitcoin, and it all has to do with the cost of capital. Take a look.
Now in 2020, we've seen the cost of capital explode. It's 25% monetary supply expansion. The Treasury strategies are now 0, 1, less than 1%. So you've got a negative real yield, minus 25%. That's the cost of capital. Okay, that's actually turning up the heat that's causing everyone to realize that conventional Treasury strategies are broken. Now, what are you going to do? Look, if you look at the compound annual growth rate of the S&P over a decade, it's 11.4% for the past decade. If you look at NASDAQ, it's faster, it's 17%. If you look at the compound annual growth rate of Bitcoin for the decade, it's 198%. Okay, so why Bitcoin? Look, you either got two choices: decapitalize the company or invest the money into something which is going to keep up with the cost of capital or exceed the cost of capital.
So he's essentially saying with money printing at 20% a year, holding cash on the corporate balance sheet just doesn't make sense. And with the S&P compounding at about 11% a year, Bitcoin, even in this big crash, is still growing 3 times that rate. So for him, it just makes good sense. And that's probably why he's now raising a further $1.5 billion to acquire more Bitcoin. And here's a snapshot into the world of corporations. There are now almost 30 companies holding Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Led by MicroStrategy, we have Tesla, Galaxy Digital, Square. Now, you may know that ARK Invest has been buying into Bitcoin for many years, but they're also now buying into Ethereum as well. And now we have 6 insurance companies buying into Bitcoin and 2 of them buying into Ethereum as well. And now the banks. Switzerland, Sygnum Bank gets into DeFi, adding custody and trading across DeFi tokens, including Aave, Argon, Curve, Maker, Synthetics, Uniswap, and 1inch Network. And it's also added banking services for USDC stablecoin, which it plans to expand a suite of yield-generating products for its clients, which include banks, hedge fund, asset managers, and family offices. Then Saxo Bank to become the first bank in Denmark to enable customers to buy and sell Bitcoin. Next, a bank in Spain. Spain's BBVA opens Bitcoin trading services to clients in Switzerland. The bank said the new business launching June 21st would include Bitcoin trading and custody services. BBVA said during the gradual rollout it detected significant desire among investors. And finally, we have the National Republican Congressional Committee begins accepting cryptocurrency campaign donations. So basically, the Republican Party in the US has now integrated cryptocurrency to accept campaign donations. Talk about bullish. So that's now insurance companies, multiple banks, over 30 corporations, and now even the US Republican Party integrating with crypto. And all of this has come in just the last year. And we'll soon be getting the data for Q2. And I'm sure many more have taken positions during this big pullback. My prediction is that there's been a big wealth transfer from the smaller, inexperienced retail investor to corporations and institutions. For me, I've been taking this opportunity to dollar cost average while everything's been going on sale, which I intend to do so until this trend reverses. So there you are guys, that's a glimpse of what's been happening in the world of institutions and corporations. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, then drop a like, always appreciated. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, then click below and join us. I do have some great videos coming up that you don't want to miss. Be sure to check out Crypto 20 with the link below. Okay, cheers guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.